Jason Walker.
This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famers, Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Yo, what up? Happy Friday. It is the Jason Walker Show inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave. And big show coming up. Turn the music down a little bit. We're going to chat with Kevin Flato. He is in studio, and I'm going to give him a hard time about being an official because he's never happy on the basketball floor, and I want to know why. Is it just because he works with Rob Tesh a lot, or we're going to get to the bottom of why Flato is always upset during a basketball game in the Frontier Conference. Plus, we're going to talk some fun stuff like Stuff the Bus, which is actually really needed. A bunch of conferences dropping stuff today, and there's a whole lot of information coming out. One of those is the Cascade Conference, and they announced today that fall sports will be suspended until, well, we'll get a guy to talk about it with us. How's that? It is the commissioner of the Cascade Conference, Rob Cashel, joining us. Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. How you doing, sir?
Hey, thank you, Jason. Doing good. I appreciate the opportunity to be on. I heard on your promo, Flint Rasmussen on the air, and Flint and I went to college together at Western Montana.
I was going to ask that because Flint is he's friends with everybody, it seems.
He really is, yeah. And we were in college at the same time at Montana Western before he became famous, and the rest of us just became working stiffs, right?
That's exactly right. Rob Cashel joining us, the commissioner of the Cascade Conference. Real quick with Flint, was he always funny, or was he just?
Oh yeah, always funny. I mean, and quick. I mean, so witty and unbelievable. He definitely is using his God-given talents in the right area. He was always just a riot to be around.
We were talking too off the air. Your cousin used to be the sheriff in Gallatin County in Bozeman area with Jim Cashel. Great dude.
Yeah. Jim was the sheriff there. I think he did 4, maybe 5 different stints there, or I think it's a voted position. And he retired a few years ago, and I think he and his wife and Diane and family are still there. He's got kids all over the country, but great guy, and glad he appreciate all the service he did for Montana and law enforcement. And great guy.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the news that came out today, and it's not unexpected. It still sucks when it has to be announced, but the Cascade today announcing that they're going to move the season from the fall, so volleyball, cross country, soccer, and golf, and try to do it either in the winter or the spring. Tell me the reason behind it, and how hard was it to come up with this decision?
Yeah, thank you. All summer, just like most athletic conferences, we've been really pushing towards what do we need to do to have fall sports back on campuses. We are one of the larger conferences in the NAIA, not only in numbers, but also in our geographical footprint, which in many cases, that's a real positive. In a case like this, it creates a lot of challenges. We have schools in Washington, Idaho, Oregon, associate members in Montana. We also have an associate member in British Columbia. So, we've been monitoring all of those spots in relationship to COVID, 4 different state regulations and different hot spots, and everything's doing it by county. And so we've been really pushing hard to try to have something that looks realistic for our student athletes. But as everything began to surge more recently in the last several weeks, and schools in several of our communities, not even out of what we would consider a phase 1 and not even able to at this point be cleared to open their doors. Our Council of Presidents just felt like the best thing we could do at this point in time would be to delay and try to give a sense of hope to everybody that, hey, we need to get all of this under control. Our goal is to provide a real robust conference schedule and a conference championship and in winter and spring. And if that means we have to forego a national tournament, then our presidents were willing to make that decision because we think it's the right thing to do.
Commissioner, it's such a tough decision. We're seeing conferences all over the country now dropping and postponing or moving fall sports or just flat out canceling. I know you want to try to get this in, but how feasible will it be to play these other sports on top of what's going to happen in the winter and spring? Hopefully that they get to have seasons.
Yeah, it's definitely a daunting challenge. I mean, all of our schools are, we're not what people see on television from the standpoint of ESPN and what you see on NCAA Division I schools. We're not fully staffed with a lot of people. We don't have, 5, 6 sports information directors. Many of our schools you have one sports information director. You're lucky if you have more than one athletic trainer. So we know it's going to be a challenge. But we also think that, the health and safety of our student athletes, and really, to be honest with you, the campus community as a whole is something that we have to look at. And right now, our Council of Presidents, at least in the Cascade, their main focus, Jason, is making sure that they open their campuses to on-campus learning in the fall. And anything that might detract from that or might force them to go back to a strictly online education delivery model is really detrimental to their mission. And we think even though it presents a lot of challenges, we feel like if things can clear up, whether it's better information, whether it's better treatments, whether a vaccine might come out, we think we have a better chance of dealing with those things than we do with such unknowns going on with intercollegiate athletics right now.
Cascade Conference Commissioner Rod Cashel, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show. A couple final questions for you, but we know that, Carroll, Providence, Rocky are associate members in soccer and softball, but then we've got, in the Frontier, associate members in Eastern Oregon, College of Idaho, Southern Oregon, just to name a couple, that for football. How does your decision have any effect on potential football season decision, or is that strictly on the Frontier? Or how much have you talked to Kent Paulson, the commissioner of the Frontier, about this?
Well, as a matter of fact, before you called, I was just on the phone with Kent. He and I talk pretty regularly about all this stuff, and I would say that our decision certainly it doesn't require the Frontier to make a similar decision. Our schools are not the schools that have football and that compete in the Frontier are free to make whatever decision they think they need to make in relationship to their conference. So we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about that from a standpoint of does our outside of our purview.
How much influence will you have on those schools, though? Because the majority of them play the majority of their sports in your CCC. Or is it going to be up to the presidents and the Frontier ADs and stuff?
Oh yeah, that'll be that's a decision that those presidents and the Frontier Conference will need to make. We work really well together. Like you said, we have associate members that are full members in the Frontier for most sports, but compete in the Cascade for a few, and vice versa. We have a few of our schools that are in the Frontier for football. But from a legislative and from a governance standpoint, they're very separate.
Rob Cashel, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show, Cascade Conference Commissioner. This is a tough time, and nobody knows what the future holds. Are we sure that we're even going to have a basketball season in the winter or wrestling?
No, we're not. And I think everyone's hopeful, but you're exactly right. We don't know. Just like I think, I don't know very many people, if any, in intercollegiate athletics thought that we would be still at this point, and maybe even at a worse point than we were in March and April, from a standpoint of COVID cases and the different state of affairs, if you will, in states across our country. So that's a crystal ball that everyone's trying to look in, and no one has the answer to.
Final question for you. I got to ask this too, because the NAIA made the decision to cancel the national basketball tournaments back in March. Is this decision by the Cascade, obviously it's approved by the NAIA, but is this a trendsetter? Because are we going to see more of this without the NAIA having to make the blanket decision on its own?
Well, I think you might. I know there's another conference, the Red River Conference, which made the same decision. And they have schools in Texas and Arkansas and I believe Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. They've already, they also announced today that they are suspending fall with hopes of doing it in spring. And then there's a scattering of probably, I think, around 15 schools that are members of conferences, but independently have said that they're stepping away from fall sports. So I do think we're probably likely to see more make this decision than not in the coming days and weeks.
Well, I can tell you what, I wouldn't want to be Rob Cashel or Kent Paulson or Jim Carr to make any of these decisions right now, because you're not going to please anybody and everybody. But I think you're making the right decision for the safety of students and student athletes and staff. I mean, let's not forget, it's not everybody's an 18 to 22-year-old.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I think one of our presidents made a great point during one of our conversations, and the comment was, we're offering N95 masks to our faculty and staff if they are fearful and if they feel like they need them. And how do I look those people in the eye and say, then I'm going to send 40 of my soccer players or 100 of my football players across 4 state lines and then back to your classroom? It's quite the juxtaposition for those presidents to be in, and they're having to look at that through a pretty wide lens from a standpoint of health and welfare of not just student athletes, but the whole population of all of the students and the faculty and staff on their campuses.
Well, it's not going to be easy, and you have enough trouble with softball and British Columbia and borders and snow in the spring, and hopefully we're able to get good weather in the spring. We'll be able to get all of this stuff taken care of. Appreciate you joining us, Cascade Conference Commissioner Rob Cashel. Take care, and hopefully we see you down the road soon at a sporting event.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
That is CCC, Cascade Conference Commissioner Rob Cashel, joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. It's a tough decision. And like I said, I would not want to be in the shoes of commissioners, presidents, or anybody right now having to make these decisions. And there's more. The Colonial Athletic Association of the FCS canceled today and just didn't postpone to the spring. Their whole fall sports season is done. And that includes James Madison, who is a preseason number 2 in the country, and the last team other than North Dakota State to win a championship on the FCS level. There's something like 34 of the 127 FCS schools have dropped fall sports and canceled football. And that's telling. That's like 27%, which means we're not done. We're going to see more of this. I think the Frontier will be soon. The Big Sky Conference, I believe, by the end of the month will make the decision that they're not going to be playing. If you look at the Cascade Conference, and like Commissioner Cashel talked about, with all of the schools and all of the states involved, not to mention British Columbia, the Big Sky is a lot bigger. And you've got states, and we talked about it yesterday too with the Frontier. You got kids coming from states and teams in states that aren't open yet. So I don't know how we're going to have fall sports season. It sucks. There absolutely sucks, but we'll try to plow our way through it. Appreciate Commissioner Cashel joining us on short notice. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and when we return, let's see if I can show the pit. Yep, there he is. He's got his hat on backwards. It is Kevin Flato. He is going to join us next. You don't have to wear your mask. He's going to join us next on the Jason Walker Show. Stuff the Bus. Big campaign coming up, and we need to stuff the bus in Lewis and Clark County. We'll talk about all that. Plus, why is he so angry on the basketball floor? Because sometimes he's actually a nice guy. But why is he so pissy all the time on the basketball floor? We'll talk to him next.
Have you thought about buying
Because
a home
sometimes
and
he's
just
actually
don't know
a nice
where to
guy.
begin? Well, when it comes to
But
one of the
why is
most
he so
important
pissy all
purchases
the
one
time
can
on the
make,
basketball
we
floor?
understand it can be
We'll talk to him
frustrating
next.
and confusing, but it doesn't have to
Have
be.
you thought about
Like a
buying a
major
home?
mortgage
Actually
can
a
help
nice
you with
guy.
all your
Now,
mortgage
when it comes
needs.
to one of the most
Major
important
Mortgage
purchases
is a
one
major
can make,
service,
we
and we would
understand
love
it
the
can be
opportunity to
frustrating
help
and
you
confusing,
today.
but
Give
it
J.R.
doesn't have to
McFadden,
be.
NMLS
Like a
number
major mortgage-
16357. A call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the
Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, Major Mortgage Man Cave. A finally Friday. And we got some great guests lined up for next week already. Dave Thorvaldson will join us. Jordan Hansen from the Missoulian. Kent Paulson, Commissioner of the Frontier. There may be a governor joining us. and not Steve Bullock. Darn. We got On This Day in History still to come, and a whole lot more today. All right. Good music. All right, let's get to it. He is he's a great official, some will say. He was a pretty good athlete back in the day, in his day, which wasn't too long ago, but it's getting longer and longer. I'm trying to figure out other ways to introduce this dude, other than the fact of just saying our guest on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline is none other than Kevin Flato. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I always wondered what this looked like in the man cave, and
it's tiny.
It's a great spot, though.
Yeah,
I like all the MSU stuff. Go Cats!
Yes, there you go.
Sure.
I don't have any Bulldog stuff in here, though.
That's all right.
Okay, pull that up a little bit. The mic, not your mask. The mic. I'm not going to enforce the mask rule.
Okay.
In my house or in my studio. So Kevin Flato joining us here, and we're going to talk about something important to start with, because this is just, to me, this is one of the biggest things that this county has to do, and that is stuff the bus and take us through it and what it means and why it's so important.
So yeah, Stuff the Bus is a nonprofit organization going on 18 years, and I got to give a shout out to my good friend Joyce, who said this year it's kind of stuff the envelope. Stuff the Bus historically has been, and thanks for the intro, our community has done an amazing job of supporting education here in the greater Helena Valley with school supplies historically in the past, going on 18 years. And with COVID this year, things look a little bit different. Our board, or our members, which I'm a part of, made the decision in the spring that it might be smarter for the health of everybody to get away from physical school supply donations and move that more towards monetary donations. And then our plan is to take that money, buy school supplies in bulk, and still try to make that happen. You know, our community, a lot of students, a lot of families rely on school supply donations. It's kind of an expense that goes overlooked sometimes. Being in the schools, families come across hard times, whatever. And so we support a lot of families and a lot of students. And so this year we're looking for more monetary donations. And Valley Bank, who's one of our main partners, shout out Valley Bank, they are matching, actually up until August 7th is my understanding, they are matching donations up until August 7th. So
sweet.
Really hoping that our community can once again go out and support Stuff the Bus and do it in a little different fashion this year.
Excuse me, Kevin Flato joining us here. This is important for a variety of reasons, and it's always important each and every year. But like you said, with COVID and not knowing whether we're going to be in class, which we'll talk about in a second, or not, and kids still need supplies. Kids still need all sorts of things.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's a great reminder of some families have lost their jobs through this whole situation. That's, you know, the family dynamic is changing all the time. And talking with Mary Anderson today, she brought up a great point as well, that, you know, what that money might go towards, with whether we're online, whether we're offline, school supplies, sanitary items. You know, a lot of that is kind of to be determined, like so many other things. You know, talking with Commissioner Cashel with sports, but school, you know, nobody really knows for sure what's going to happen. And this whole thing is evolving so quickly. So that funnels down to the schools as well, and how we may use those funds, whether it's school supplies or online stuff or sanitary items, or, you know, being in education, you can always use that extra support.
Oh, absolutely. Teachers deserve... Teachers, to me, are like law enforcement. They need all the help and all the money they can get.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Kevin Flato joining us here on the Jason Walker Show in the Major Mortgage Man Cave. So normally you would literally stuff a bus, right?
Yeah, so...
but this year it's a little different.
Yeah, historically it's been... You know, we have all these great partners in our community, different places people go. They can buy school supplies. They can bring it to the box, different boxes set up. And then the bus goes around like the second-ish week of August and collects all those school supplies. And then like the third week of August, there's a whole host of us that go to, we unload the bus, we organize it, and then we kind of take supplies for our individual schools. So this year, yes, it's definitely going to look different with just the unknown of the virus and being on different substances. We made the decision this spring to really shoot more towards monetary donations. And last I heard, in the email, we're about 40% of our goal right now, which is a little bit, it's so unknown, we don't really know. So once again, wanted to reach out and thanks so much for having me on to kind of get the word out of, this is a very important thing for our community, for our kids. And once again, we're so thankful for our community and the support they've shown in the past and just kind of trying to double down on that effort.
So how can people donate? Just go to Valley Bank or?
Yeah, Valley Bank or Valley Bank, again, super generous. They're matching donations through August 7th. And then if people out there are really set on physical school supplies, pencils, erasers, crayons or whatever, Power Townsend is accepting school supplies. We do have one location there.
Oh, cool. And school supplies, when you talk about it, it's literally everything from pencils and erasers to
erasers, binders, paper, crayons, glue. I mean, you go everywhere from kindergarten up through 12th. It looks a little bit different. Binders, backpacks. Yes.
All right. How much time have you, when you were in school, how much glue did you put in your palm to wait to dry before you could peel it off?
Peel it off. So, like my principal, Cal Boyle, said, my ADD is pretty bad. So, I'm a total fidget. Glue on the hands, peel it off.
So you still do this?
Yeah, I'm still doing it right now. I'm talking to you, I'm online, I'm doing this, but I'm looking at the Cats thing and the Tennessee. I'm multitasking, which kind of leads into my officiating. Yeah, I'm able to do that. So spent some time with the glue on the hands. Yeah, a lot.
A lot. Mandy Carver's watching, another former
from Dillon?
Bulldog, Idaho State.
So
Beaver and Idaho State.
My college house, 9 Sky High, she was next door. Her brother Bryce is in middle school. I coached her brother Bryce. He's the head coach at Hamilton now.
Okay.
I don't know if her family was super stoked about my generation college house being at 9 Sky High right next door, but no, Mandy Carver. I think she's at Fresno State still.
She's at Fresno, yeah. We're going to get her on the air soon because you talk about a girl that had, and I'm a huge supporter of women athletics in general, but a girl that had an unbelievable playing career at Idaho State and then got into the coaching and has just killed it.
It's been really cool to watch. Yeah. I've never had the chance to ask her, why didn't you end up at Lady Grizz or Bobcats? But had a great career at Idaho State for sure, and then has done amazing things. I follow her on social media. I don't know if we've talked in years, but
she's good. There's a lot of great athletes in Dillon. There's something in that water down in Dillon.
Yeah. Dillon is that's where I went to undergrad. Super blue collar worker Troy Anderson type, which is right now. But there's been so many great athletes and the high school program there. Basketball, football, track and field, all the way across. There's something about that community that produces some great athletes for sure.
They definitely do. Kevin Flato joining us here in studio in the Major Mortgage Man Cave. All right, you also, a couple of serious questions here I want to stick with, aside from the stuff the bus, but with COVID, and you're a counselor in the middle school, this is tough on kids. This is... because we as adults don't know anything about this disease, but yet the kids know even less, and we're putting a lot on them. Take me through the physical and especially the mental aspect of being a kid in this time of age.
Yeah, so I think the unknown of it is huge. And then so I'm at Helena Middle School, so I'm working with 11 to 14-year-olds, and just developmentally their ability to have awareness of things outside their own narcissistic selves, honestly, in a way, is tough. But for them to really understand the greater concept of things is really difficult. They don't understand it, and then you take them out of their day-to-day routine that a public school provides, and my experience from the spring was very, very difficult on kids, just in general, all ages from kindergarten through 12th grade. Obviously, as counselors, we talk amongst the district of things that are going on, and all spectrums of kids, all socioeconomic status. It affected everybody, and it's really got me worried, and other education professionals worried about what is this doing to our kids long term.
How much have you already talked with other counselors, and how much will you do in the next 6 weeks? Because we don't know if we're even going back to school yet. So how do you prepare for both cases? You either are in school and you got to wear a mask all day. Good luck with, little kids trying to tell them that. Or if we're back online, because then it becomes a parental issue as well.
The layers are so thick on it. The dynamics are so thick. And to be 100% honest, for my own mental health, I've been trying not to think of it. But with the sports stuff coming up, obviously I coach football, I referee basketball, and that's a huge part of who I am as well. And working with kids, I try not to think about it, but I have been thinking about it and kind of preparing mentally for the different scenarios. We have amazing leadership in the Helena School District, and I know that they've been working overtime all summer to come up with a whole bunch of different scenarios of what if this happens, what if this happens, what if this happens. I don't know. You just kind of got to roll with it, and it's the same message I share with kids all the time. Control what you can control. Certain things outside of your control you can't control, and just try to stay focused on that. And so I think as an educator, we're all trying to, deal with the uncertainty, but we're trying to get ourselves mentally wrapped around, controlling what we can control. And I think that's on a deeper level, that's what's really hard on human beings through this time, for sure.
Do you counsel with the teachers too? Because this was unknown to them in the spring.
Yeah.
It was, I'm sure, hard on a bunch of them too. You got to teach from home and nobody knows how to do this yet.
Yeah.
Or do you just talk to the kids?
I mostly spend a lot of times with my kids. We moved everything to remote Microsoft Teams, which is the equivalent of Zoom. And so that in and of itself doesn't really lend itself. We have our neighborhood meetings, we have our leadership meetings, we have our different meetings, but just having that barrier alone is kind of difficult. It's not like, having Dave Sturgar stop by your office and say what's up and kind of, talk through things, or different relationships you have with different teachers, or me physically being able to go and know a certain teacher's on a prep period and stop in and just, hey, how's it going? How's things going? It's the technology definitely does have its limitations. And so some of that was probably limited as well.
Kevin Flato joining us here. He is a teacher, counselor, official. And I was told to put freshman football offensive guru on your little thing.
Cicero or Madsen?
Cicero, yeah.
Top agent, Cicero.
Yeah. Cicero needs to advertise. You need to get on him for that.
Century 21, top agent 2019, I think.
Someone, just anybody. Your other boss needs to advertise, Tesh.
Right, yeah, he wanted a shameless plug today, Black Dog Flooring.
Yeah, well, that's his one. I'm going to charge him. I'm going to send him an invoice.
You should.
And he needs to advertise.
We've been working hard enough for him this summer. I mean, Dwyer, he can afford it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Kevin Flato joining us here in the Major Mortgage Man Cave. All right, high school football.
Yeah.
How are we going to approach this, again, not knowing what our future holds in the next 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, so, it's been about a month. We got the okay to go ahead with off-season workouts. So obviously I coach football at Helena High as well. Our staff has been approaching it as if we are going to have a season, the first thing that comes to mind is just how great it's been to get back working with our kids and to see the numbers and to see the participation. I think kids need this as much as anybody, and they've been benefiting from it. So, we've been back working with our kids, working in the off season as a coaching staff. We were doing a lot of Zoom meetings, trying to prepare for the season like we would any other season. And we've been back working for, it's been about a month, and that's all we can do. There's a new mandate that came down from Governor Bullock with the masks, and Coach Evans has done a great job, Tim McMahon, of sending out emails really outlining what that looks like. So we're ready for our camp, next week. Coaches are meeting Sunday night, and we're just going to continue to push forward and once again control what we can control and prepare as if there is going to be a season, and just keep fingers crossed that we're able to have that season and that kind of our hopes aren't let down, for sure.
Kevin Flato joining us here. Steve Keller just tuned in on the Facebook. He's a good dude.
He is a good dude.
Him and I go way back.
Yeah.
And we used to have our issues. And then a couple years ago, everything's fine. We're like great. But he's on the show all the time. I love Coach Keller. But what was he like?
Coach Keller is the ultimate competitor, fantastic basketball coach, very demanding. He's just wired, he's wired a certain way. You're about to ask me why I'm so serious. Well, a lot of us are wired that way of competing and being our best. Coach Keller's a great basketball coach, very demanding, very, very alpha in that approach of wanting to win. Yeah.
You gave him a technical in January at Carroll. What did he say?
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I think, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was bad, though. Because you teed him up quick.
Yeah. No comment. No comment.
Okay, let me ask you this. You are you're a great official, and we have some of the best officials in the Frontier and Big Sky Conference for that matter, but you're so serious.
Yeah.
A lot of the other officials, like when I used to do games, we could have fun. Like Dwyer, Tesh, we'd have fun with each other. And Ray, who's a great official, you were you're no fun. You don't like media. You just never had fun during a game when I was broadcasting.
So yeah, I'm here. I like media. I'm here. I'm wired how I'm wired. I take things very seriously. I'm very passionate about the things I do, and I have my self-awareness of that has for sure grown. I've taken steps towards trying to have a better time. It's something I consistently hear, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing I preach to kids, like be the best version of yourself. And I think for me, the version of myself, whether it's my upbringing or how I'm wired, it's just it's very serious. And sometimes but I do have that light side of me that some people get to see, some people don't. And so, yeah.
Maureen Boyle, Coach Boyle, who we all love.
Oh, Teddy.
She just said, a teacher doesn't give a grade, the student earns it. Kevin didn't give him that technical, so Keller earned it. Keller earns his T's. There's no question about that.
So, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that once again, but Mo,
just in general.
Coach Mo, obviously I work for her husband, Cal. Mo has seen me plenty of times not being very serious. Maybe she'll chime in and mention that. I have a lot of fun with her kids.
How much, when I was doing games, how much did you see me, like when you'd come over to make the call and I'm sitting there going, it's travel or, how much did you see, or if I'm waving like bad call?
The common misconception I think with fans is they think we hear them, and we really don't. We don't hear a whole lot. We don't see a lot of that. We're pretty dialed into what we're doing. Sometimes you will catch a little glimpse of it, but we as officials a lot of times go into it knowing that we're the only three out there that are really going to be fully supportive of one another and support one another and love one another in that moment. And that just kind of is what it is. It comes with the territory for sure.
Coach Boyle says she has no comment.
No comment on
your niceness.
Come on, Tuddy.
Kevin Flato joining us. And I'm not going to give you any crap about officiating because, I talked to Tom Dwyer about this one time and he said, his mom was listening to a game that I was doing, and she goes, "Man, Jason was hard on you guys." He goes, "Look, there's three teams on the floor. There's the visiting team, the home team, and the officiating team." He goes, "If we got critiqued, you probably deserved it." So,
and we talk about that, as officials, we talk about there's three teams out there, and fans say what they're going to say, people say what they're going to say, and our only focus literally is trying to be the best team out there, trying to get plays right, trying to be consistent, trying to earn respect. And I don't know what other way to say it other than that. We put a ton of time into it, as do the other stakeholders in the game, whether it's basketball, football, whatever. We put a ton of time into it. The other stakeholders do, and we're just out there trying to do our best, trying to remain consistent, try to adjudicate the rules as written. And it's a great challenge, and some days we're great, some days we're not. Just kind of
like broadcasters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, and like I said, when I was doing games, I absolutely loved it because you get. After 6 years, there's a relationship that's built not only between coaches and players and everybody, but the officials. And I was able to give you guys a hard time. We always were very complimentary on the air all the time. And you guys listen to a lot of that stuff. And, and what was nice is we're able to help me become a better broadcaster because of things that I was able to ask the officials like a Tesh or like a Dwyer or sitting in the who was the Matt Shute sitting down at the women's tournament in Billings. Yeah. And it makes me better, and it just helps because there's rules that people don't understand. Yeah. And we're trying to broadcast on the radio what just happened when nobody knows what it is. There's a lot of new rules each and every year.
Well, it changes so quickly. And then, you try to talk about officiating being black and white, right? The rules are pretty black and white.
But they're not.
You go to imply the rule, and then there is a level of gray. And I think the one thing that maybe drives fans nuts, drives coaches nuts, drives players nuts, is that inconsistency or lack of consistency of the gray area stuff. And so, that is the art of officiating. I know Rob's been on and talked about that, and that continues to be the challenge, I guess, with it. But yeah, there's a lot of rules that the average person in the stands doesn't know or doesn't realize. I don't know. So for sure.
No, and it's fun, and I'm not going to ask you anything specific to get you in trouble because I don't want to do that. But like I said, I love the officials that are in the conference. I love to give you guys a hard time, and I love to give you compliments. And I think, they're the guys that officiate and the ladies in the Frontier are some of the best in the country. There's no question about it. And that's why you see someone from the Frontier every year at a national tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, you take a look around. Two of my main mentors, Rob Tesh, Tom Dwyer, they've both worked multiple state tournaments. They've both worked multiple national tournaments, some D1 stuff, some D2 stuff. I'll take our officials in the Frontier, in Montana up against anybody. Absolutely, all day long. Yep. Love the guys I work with. They're professionals. They work hard at it. Great people. I think that's one thing that sometimes is missing is you can't get to this level and do it unless you're out there being a good person. You know what I mean? All the time. And, we work hard at it. I don't know if the average fan knows that. I think the coaches respect it the same way we respect the coaches and the players in return. But I don't know if the average fan knows that, how much time and effort we really put into it because we want to be a solid stakeholder in the game as well. And we're out there, trying to do our best. And when we blow a call or we miss a situation or whatever, I know personally I'll let it eat me up as much as what Jason Walker says on the air or what other fans say. I'm my biggest critic, and I think most of us are like that.
I got to, because Rob Tesh talked about this when he was on with me before. His throwing somebody out in Northern, which was that's a fantastic story. Have you thrown anybody out?
Yeah, I've thrown a handful of fans out.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I wonder where I got that from.
Probably Tesh. Who, like I said, I does a great job. I used to follow him. I was a ball boy for the Bobcats back in the day, and I used to run up and down the football field when he would return kicks and punts and stuff.
Yeah, he was
used to be fast.
A lot of people don't know the type of football player and just overall athlete he was. And if there's one thing, a lot of people don't know what kind of human being he is. I mean, you talk about, I've been very blessed with some amazing mentors, whether it's as a school counselor or as a football coach or as a basketball referee, but I'm not sure I've had a bigger mentor that's meant more in my life than Rob Tesh. And, some people know, some people don't, just the overall amazing human being he is and athlete that he was at Montana State and basketball official and football coach and flooring expert and whatever he moves on to next with the adrenaline fundraising, he'll kill it at that as well.
Hey, what's the biggest difference for you from going from high school games to college games sometimes on back-to-back nights? Because the rules, there's a lot of difference.
Yeah, so high school and women's to men's, I'm blessed to be able to work women's basketball as well. A lot of it's the pregame, getting your mind wrapped around it. The plays obviously a little bit slower. Plays are a little bit different. Partners are different. Getting them really, so when I work high school, it's more leadership role of getting my crew and their mind wrapped around what we're about to do and points of emphasis and where we need to be and where we don't need to be. High schools, there are differences. Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. I would say just getting my crew ready to rock and roll.
I like that. Coach Keller, by the way, said he earned that tease, so there you go. You did. You did it
that's
right.
The thing, that you respect is all.
Hey, there's so many great coaches in the Frontier Conference, and
absolutely,
and we saw a bunch of changes a couple of years ago on the men's side, but you look at the women's side. these coaches have all been here forever, and
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
awesome. And then on the men's side, there's some great coaches, and it's just it's so much fun to cover that conference just because of the coaches.
The coaches and then just the play as well. I mean, the Frontier is such a competitive league.
Yeah.
You hear high school kids kind of sleep on the Frontier a little bit. I want to go D1, whatever. I had a conversation with a couple former Helena High kids that are flirting with it. I'm like, you gotta be good, man. You gotta really be able to play in the Frontier. And then our coaches in the Frontier, both on the men's and the women's side, tons of respect for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there recruiting, coaching. Any given night, anybody can beat anybody.
Right.
Absolutely. I know you're gonna have Coach Paul or Kent Paulson on
Yep.
a little bit later, but yeah, Frontier is absolutely, and you see it at the national tournament year in, year out.
Well, and I was going to say, if you're a kid in Montana or really anywhere, and you're downplaying the Frontier Conference, and or even the Cascade, let's be honest, you're missing out, because if you want a chance to go to the national tournament, if you're going to choose Cats, Grizz, or Frontier, I'm going Frontier.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see. I was a Division I athlete once upon a time for 3 semesters, and then transferred, and no regrets about that. I totally get it, wanting to go D1, and if you have that opportunity, for sure, go do it. I would never say not do it, but what the Frontier has going on and NAI, there's amazing opportunities out there, and I had an amazing time playing. I know a lot of my friends and my peers had an amazing time playing, and you look any year on the women's and the men's side, 3, 4, even five
women's teams, yeah.
On the women's side, definitely, there's some great basketball being played.
Well, those days are over with the way that the NAI has changed now. But okay, couple final fun ones for you.
Sure.
Favorite gym to officiate in?
Man, Northern.
Everybody says Northern because it's a great gym.
Something about that place. I don't know if it's the darkness. You drive. One of the hardest things about officiating is the travel. You get off school, you hop in a car, you drive 3 hours to Northern. Once you're on the floor, the adrenaline kicks in, and it's awesome. And then you drive home, and you're tired. You get home at 1:30, maybe get up, go to work the next day. But Northern's awesome. I say anybody says Northern, something about it, the High Line, the way that community rallies around their team. There's something about that. Yeah, but I enjoy working I just enjoy the opportunity to be able to do it, honestly.
Worst place to travel to? And don't worry, nobody's listening.
I think like Rocky on a Thursday night or Northern on a Thursday night when you
and then you got to come back.
And it seems like once a year, and again, I'm not going to complain about my schedule, but once a year I'm either at Northern, Rocky on a Thursday night, crawling to bed 1:32, up at school at 7:30, do my thing on a Friday, and then hop right back in the car. Those are probably the toughest turnarounds.
Yeah.
And that's something that people probably don't see, the average fan or whatever.
Well, yeah, because the teams, like, Carroll, you travel to Billings the night before. Wednesday, you get, a nice room in a hotel. You spend the night. You got all day, and then you play, and then you come home.
For sure.
But, you guys are traveling day of. There's no hotels for you guys.
Well, yeah, and then doing your real job, which is number one to me. I mean, dealing with some serious stuff on any given day and making sure you're taking care of business there, and then hopping in the car. Yeah, you definitely got to be focused and dialed in, and the other thing I think about officiating a lot of people don't understand is that something's got to give, and for a lot of people it's their relationships, whether it's their spouse, their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and so you really have to have all of life really dialed in to be successful at it.
When you played, what was your favorite place to go?
Probably Carroll, just because it's my hometown.
Okay.
And back then it was a pretty good rivalry.
Still is.
It still is. It still is, but there was definitely like kind of a chip on your shoulder come back. And not that Coach Turcotte gave me an opportunity to play. Like, to be quite frank, I went to Western when I transferred from MSU because Josh Keller and Randy Rinaldi and Brandon Day were there.
Sure.
And I just needed to be around my guys at the time coming from a situation I was in. But, I always loved coming, and I always played really well coming back and playing at Carroll. That was probably my favorite
Who was coach at MSU?
I got caught up kind of between the Cliff Heisel to Mike
and Kramer
transition, yeah.
So you had the 0-11 season.
Yeah, I was a part of that.
Yeah, I did PA announcing for that.
You did?
Yeah, because I started in 96 and then went through, I did 96 to 02 and then I don't remember. 03, 03, and then I missed 04 and 05, came back 06 to 13.
Yeah.
So
was it as miserable for you as it was for me?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of misery up in that.
Yeah.
How did you treat the officials when you played?
You know, my dad was an official growing up, and so I was kind of taught to treat him with respect. One of my greatest stories ever is I did get one off on Rob Tesh my senior year. It was Rocky. We were playing at Western homecoming. Josh Keller balled out that game. He had like 35. And yeah, I got a comment off on Rob, and he knows it to this day, and it's so fun to remind him of it every couple times a year. Yeah, I definitely got a comment off on him for sure. That's back before we were as close as we are now.
Okay, well, yeah, you worked for the guy. How hard is it to, who loses it quicker? You? Who has more of a hot temper, you or Tesh?
No, Tesh for sure.
Because he's real quick at giving the tease.
He's evolved a lot, though.
He's grown up.
Evolved a lot, for sure.
No, he's grown up.
Yeah,
you
for
don't have to say evolve.
I mean, and that's, we all should be trying to evolving.
You're too serious. Even now, you're not going to say anything to get in trouble. All right, favorite crew to officiate with?
I mean, it's got to be my guys, Tesh and Dwyer.
Okay.
Those are guys that have been so instrumental in my development as an official and as just a human being and a person. Me and Tom played high school together. And so just the familiarity and the trust we have with one another. But on any given night, there's so many great officials around the state. My guys up in Great Falls, probably take a close number 2, Bo and Ray. We became close. And there's just great officials everywhere. On any given night, you're going to work with guys in the Frontier that for sure you can trust. And
Ray
do
is
your
great.
thing with. Yeah.
Bo scares the hell out of me.
Why?
He looks like a freaking Marine.
And that's the thing is people label me if you don't know me. I'm pretty introverted, honestly. If you don't know me, I'm pretty introverted, and then I'm 6'6", 220, whatever. But I don't know if it's always fair. And I'm pretty serious, but that's not really who I am all the time. And Bo's the same way. Bo's awesome. Bo's a kick in the pants.
He's got guns, man.
He does. Yeah. Is
he the best built official?
I don't know. He's worked hard at his fitness. I know for sure. I know that for a fact. He's worked really hard. Best built, I don't know. That's a tough question. That's part of it is you got to be in shape. That's a motivating factor to work out year round and to stay in shape. And it's kind of a lifelong sport, I guess, in a way. And a lot of us are former athletes, and so it comes pretty easily.
Yeah. No, Bo is ripped. I haven't seen him shirtless. You guys have, but
yeah, Bo's a good dude, man.
Bo is a great racer. And like I said, some of the girls, too, that officiate, they're fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're getting better and better in the Frontier. There's no question.
No question about it.
How often do you officiate with the Cascade guys? Because there's some mean ones over there. They remind me of you.
Yeah.
Especially LC State games.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Probably, we got some guys down in Southern Idaho that I'll work with. I'm not sure if they're in the Cascade. And then some guys out of Spokane. Probably 3 or 4 or 5 games a year.
Because you guys do the crossovers, right?
Yeah, it's always a nice change up too, because you get a different perspective. And then, the best is the locker room talk leading up to the game of what's going on, what plays have you had, showing clips, talking philosophy. Just continuing with that growth mindset. I think that's some of my favorite moments being an official is the car rides and the camaraderie and the talk pregame, and then just to talk about, how's life? How's your family? How's your job? How's your career? That's the important stuff.
What's cool for me is to be able to send you guys videos and say, okay, give me your call on this.
Sure.
Block or charge.
Yeah.
And there was one this year, and we're not going to talk about it. It's specific, but there was one this year that lit up the internet, and I sided with the officials that said it was a charge.
Good for you. See, you're growing and evolving as a person too.
I don't know about growing. See, I can't grow. I am not 6'6". All right. Getting back to Stuff the Bus, again, how can people help?
People can help just by, Valley Bank has been one of our main sponsors. They're matching donations up until August 7th, I believe. You can go to any of the branches, and that is so crucial, so important. And our community has been so amazing at supporting that. Back in the day, if you're dead set on buying some crayons or pencils or erasers or paper or binders, you can for sure take that by Power Townsend. That's another one of our main partners, sponsors as well, up until August 7th. And then just keep your fingers crossed that we're able to have some normalcy school year. I mean, I know it's a huge stress on a lot of families. This time is absolutely crazy, not only with sports, but at school as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it was great to have you in to get that opinion of the counselor for the kids. And we forget about that sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think a lot of people lose sight of public education, and it provides so much more than just an education. It's a home, it's camaraderie, it's socialization, it's getting your basic needs met, it's being surrounded by supportive adults. It's so much more than just education. And when we're online, you know, the main takeaway I think in this last spring is so much of that is stripped away, and it's tough. It's tough on everybody.
No doubt about that.
I mean, it's just a crazy time.
Well, we appreciate coming in. I got to get you and Tesh and Dwyer all in here together, I think. We're on the internet,
Dwyer
so
brings
I
a whole different dynamic. You want to talk about me being too serious? He's like the antithesis of that.
I know.
So you know, you get us together. I think Rob puts us together to work in the summer a lot, and we get stuff done. We do a great job, but there's.
Do you guys fight?
No, there's a lot of fun being had and screwing around.
Okay.
Mostly.
No arguing.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you off the. I can't say it on the air. It involves a word that got me fired. But Dwyer dropped some bombs on me one time on the air during a game.
Yeah, his filter's not always great.
He's really good at the crowd mic.
Either. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you gotta be careful of that hot mic.
The one thing I wish I had was a microphone on Tesh. It was a Carroll game a couple years ago against Western, and it was like there was like 5 T's in the first half, and he had called Keller and Carson Cunningham together at midcourt, and I wish I knew what that conversation sounded like, because to be a fly on the wall on that one, man.
Well, yeah, and there's a picture out there of that. He's got that picture, and there was actually some anonymous person sent a meme that was hilarious.
I got to see that.
Yeah,
Tesh, you got to send that to me.
You'll have to ask, but. You know, we're all very competitive people out there. You know, that situation just kind of outlines that, and that's what sports and athletics are, and that's what's great about it.
Look at those coaches, look at those players, those teams. I mean,
yeah,
there was such a great talent on those teams that
absolutely,
you know, they're trying to win a Frontier Conference title.
And the competitiveness that goes with it is that those are some of the situations that happen. And you know, if COVID's taught us one thing, it's hopefully we have those situations moving forward. You know, I mean, I'm a year without sports, or it's really hard on a lot of people.
Are you going to have to officiate with a mask?
Gosh, I haven't thought about that. I would. I mean, if that's what it took, I would do it. I mean, it means that much to, I think, all stakeholders. You know, we're talking about, you know, the new mandates of having to work out with masks. I mean, I think we as athletes and people in this realm of our culture want it and need it that bad that I think we will do it if that's what it takes. You know, I think it's that embedded in our culture of being an American or just being an athlete. Yeah.
Well, people tell you to hide your whistle a lot, so
yeah, maybe I hide it under there and just
hide
run
under the
up
mask.
and down and hope I can get through the game. See how that works out.
Kevin Flato, get a hold of him or get down to Valley Bank if you want to help stuff the bus this year for Lewis and Clark or for Helena Schools. But man, it's been fun to having you in here. You can come back anytime.
Thanks. Yeah.
Next time, be fun though.
Anytime. I'm trying my
Just
best. Man.
laugh
This
once.
is as laid back as I get. It's July 17th, so it doesn't get a whole lot less serious from here on out.
There you go. It's time to start getting focused on seasons. That's it. That is not Rob Tesh. That is Kevin Flato joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. Segment brought to you by Rutgers Furniture and Mark LaRoe Photography. We'll take a break. We'll come back, wrap things up on a Finally Friday. Stay with us.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Ruckers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Ruckers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918. Or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Dinner's Done Right is open and ready for you to stop in and stock up for the summer. How does a Big Sky flank steak sound? Or a sage roasted pork loin? June's menu also includes a Parmesan tilapia and a variety of fantastic chicken cuisines and more. And if that's not enough, Dinner's Done Right's Grab and Go Soup, Salad, and Nacho Bar is back as well, with one exception. The delightful staff now will make it for you. And don't forget deliveries to Bozeman and Great Falls on select days. Stop in at 1212 Cedar Street in Helena or visit dinnersdoneright.com.
I'm done with this.
Thinking about trying something new? The Montana Air National Guard has so many exciting career fields to choose from. Many that can open up opportunities in your civilian life. The best part? You'll be getting paid to learn a new trade skill right here at home. What are you waiting for? Let's get you in school and get you paid. Contact Luke Fecto at 406-788-8962.
Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com. Oh, final segment on a Finally Friday. And Kevin Flato's still stuck around. Just because I couldn't get downstairs to let him out with dogs and all that stuff. So anyway, but he wanted to see what it was like hanging out in the man cave anyway, so there you go. This segment also brought to you by Mark LaRoe Photography. We went a little long in the last one, so all of our great sponsors. In fact, we showed you this photo yesterday, and it's actually, Mark took this picture, and it's beautiful. It's from Ennis, July the 3rd of this year. If you want to buy that, you can. Go to marklaroephotography.com. You can't have this one. This one's mine. I bought that one. But marklaroephotography.com. All right. Just real quick, let's get to, let's see. On this day in history. Oh, we talked about some of the other ones. Cascade Conference canceled its, moved its fall sports to spring, hopefully. But the CAA canceled today. You've got a whole bunch, Red River, from FCS to NAI, and we're not having a football season, folks. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't see how it's possible. We'll talk more about that Monday. Dave Thorvaldson will join us, Carroll College women's soccer coach, because the Cascades decision impacts him immediately. Jordan Hansen will join us as well from the Missoulian. Today is July the 17th. It is National Peach Ice Cream Day, which just sounds disgusting. Which favorite ice cream?
Chocolate chip mint.
Okay. Mint?
Yeah.
Ooh, gross. Chocolate chip's good.
Yeah.
Rocky Road?
I've been more into Ben & Jerry's Haagen-Dazs lately, though.
Oh, okay. Tash must pay well if you can get the Ben & Jerry's.
Just not well enough.
He needs to advertise so he can pay more. I don't know. Anyway, where are we at? It is also National Yellow Pig Day. Don't know what that means. World Emoji Day. National Lottery Day and National Tattoo Day. It's there's some stuff happened in Wimbledon on this date, 1882. William Renshaw beat his twin brother Ernest again. In 1885, defending champ Maud Wilson beat Blanche Bingley. But then the next year, Bingley defeated the two-time champ Watson. And in 1894, Blanche Bingley, who then got married, Hilliard, won the third of her 6 Wimbledon titles. 1902, the Orioles